Hello, I'm going to do a reading for you today, and this one is, the overall energy is for someone creative. I got via, which equals change, so obviously big things are changing for somebody or a lot of people. So this is the symbol for via. So I'm going to go ahead and read through what I wrote. The math of everything works into a 6, which is like when we are a creative, the only way to make something become something is to continually do something, to have a pattern. And, it's not to do the same thing all the time, but sometimes like when we are creating something, we need to give ourselves the time to work on something, maybe punctually, or consistently, maybe the answer. And then there was a different math that I did, and I ended up with the number 11, which is a master number. So I'm going to read what I wrote about that, but first I want to talk about Neptune entering Aries, because I feel like it's important to this message. Is Neptune is the planet of illusion and sometimes deception. And Aries is where we initiate something, where we start something, the beginning of something. And sometimes, like, Aries rules over the head and the eyes. So sometimes when there's an illusory type of energy that comes over oneself, it can give the rose-colored glasses effect. So it is perfect for writing and creating, for dreaming and different things like that. But just make sure, I guess it's a side note, that you double check information, because anything can appear to feel or seem real. And with this message, it's talking about your intuition, your vision, and where your inspiration comes from. Either where it's dreams with insight or an inner knowing, emotions that feel overwhelming and sometimes causing us to overthink. Nervousness or a restless energy may need breath work meditation. This is an artistic type of energy, and it's important for you to trust your intuition and to embrace your unique gifts, even if the path seems uncertain. And that's literally another word for via is path, right? So we walk the path. So a new beginning that sometimes means that the path may feel obscured. You're feeling drawn towards something but can't always see exactly where it is, where it's supposed to be going, or how we're supposed to get there, or anything like that. All I know is that I have this feeling to do something. Now, when I looked at the chart, Gemini was the rising sign, and Uranus in Taurus was in the 12th house. And I'm using Western Tropical. This is not for a Vedic reading. Uranus inside the 12th house can sometimes bring very prophetic, very intense, sometimes dreams that end up being like deja vu type of energy, but it also is very like intuitive type of energy, but it can give us a restless energy, like our knees are bouncing, we have a hard time standing still, we feel restless. And to me it seems like if your mind is restless and there's something that it's causing you to be anxious, or you're not sure why you're anxious, I would suggest breathwork meditation, simply because sometimes the only power that you have is to breathe. So you might as well make sure that you're breathing fully all the way in and not shallow. And then the Ace of Pentacles, this is considered a new opportunity, a new job, something. And so sometimes, in order to start something new, that means we have to change something, obviously, right? So when I looked at this chart in Gemini, the part of fortune, which is a wheel with an X in it, that normally means something that we find joy in, or immense joy, or some sort of fulfillment in. So that was in Gemini in the first house. So especially when it's talking about the importance to trust one's intuition, this one talked about possible, jobs, And if you are a creative, sometimes doing something on your own, starting something on your own, or using something very unique to you. And Uranus is also considered a very quirky, weird, unique type of individual who does things very unconventional. They're very, you can't put them in a box, they don't fit. So this energy of needing to embrace your uniqueness, it can also lead to an opportunity. So sometimes we dog ourselves and we talk bad about ourselves and we think bad about ourselves and we think that there's nothing special about me, everybody does this thing. Possibly. But, out of all of the people in the world, there's like a unique niche of people who are looking for you. So even though there's an oversaturation of what you feel that you're doing, like for example, me doing tarot, there's lots of tarot readers, but there's going to be a niche for people for me. So there will be a niche of people for you. And the 9 of Cups, ruled by Jupiter in Pisces. So Jupiter was in the Gemini rising. So the luck, growth, and expansion, and the gold mine is within you, literally. And then Pisces was the 10th house of this chart. So there's something about you and your career that is uniquely like a glove. And even if you're not doing that right now, that doesn't mean it can't present itself to you. And this card, the 9 of Cups, sometimes, like the traditional card will show like a man who's sitting in a chair with this giant table behind him with all these cups stacked behind him, and there's this huge curtain. And so the curtain can mean many different things in different readings, but one of the things it normally means is there's something behind the veil. There's something back here that is hidden. And Uranus hanging out in the 12th house, technically that's the place of hidden, or something of secrets, or something that is not visible to the naked eye, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which is the elusive type of energy. So and Neptune moves tomorrow into Aries, which means maybe the veil will be lifted, maybe the thing that you're working on, maybe the thing that feels intangible will now, as it moves into Aries, the starting point, you'll be able to start with some type of passion. But be careful with romanticizing things. It will ask you to be very clear and concise when you initiate something, because that's what Aries is. That energy is of initiating something. You have to know where you're going, which is via the path. You have to have a goal. So even when things get confusing, or you feel like you kind of lost your way in some kind of way, you still have that goalpost. You have to have at least foresight. And if you don't have the goal, you don't have the vision yet, then you're in the creation part of it, which is this here. We're still creating. And that's a lot of patience. You have to give yourself some grace, give yourself some passion, give yourself some understanding. Do not be in a hurry. Like Neptune is a very slow planet, gonna be moving through a very impulsive sign. So that's gonna be that push and pull dynamic between, I feel like I have to produce something right now, but Neptune's like, everything's gonna be fine, everything's gonna work out just in time, different things like that. So it's kind of a whimsical, magical type of energy, but it can be sluggish. And like when fire meets water, the water can become warmer, but the fire can go out in some kind of way, or can be blessed or controlled or constrained in some kind of way. And sometimes the fire needs to be controlled, because what happens when fire isn't controlled, it burns out of control, it takes over, and it destroys a lot of different things. So sometimes we do need to have some things dampened. And that doesn't mean that we need to have our hopes, dreams, and aspirations just blown out the window, but it just does. Sometimes it may mean, you know, like sometimes this card could mean we're super excited, we have all these things that we want to do, and we have this, you know, all the things type of energy, and everything's amazing, and I'm just going to go and fall off this cliff into all these different things. And you may need to just narrow your path, instead of having, you know, like a multitude of different things. Pick one, choose one and whole ass it. Don't do a whole bunch and half ass it. Doesn't mean you can't every once in a while dabble in different things, because as you go through and you choose different things, it still keeps you honing. But first and foremost, the thing that you need to remember is that you are unique, just like the energy of Uranus. We are unique, we are interesting, we are very perceptive, and our intuition is on point. But now, instead of trying to use it so much externally towards an instant gratification type of energy, it has to come into a more fulfillment energy, I guess. So I hope that helps somebody today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. It was the eclipse this morning, so happy eclipse. Bye.